In the 1950s, jazz was exploding on the music scene in America. Artists like Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker, also known as Yardbird, John Coltrane, Art Blakey, Max Roach, and so many others were setting new and challenging directions for this vibrant art form. As an example of self-expression and the democratization of how musicians interplay and respond to each other, jazz was repressed in much of the world where conformity and allegiance was demanded. In fact, jazz was banned in the Soviet Union, and one widespread propaganda slogan in Russia those days was, quote, "Today he plays jazz, tomorrow he'll betray his country." As part of the U.S. policy to integrate and challenge repressive governments, the U.S. created jazz ambassadors to weaponize this new art form and exported jazz artists to the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and behind the Iron Curtain. Dave Brubeck was one of those called upon into this service. The first Jazz Ambassador Tour began in March of 1956 and lasted for 10 weeks. An 18-piece band was led by Gillespie and performed in Iran, Pakistan, Lebanon, Turkey, Yugoslavia, and Greece. An American ambassador reported back saying, quote, "Maybe we could have built a new tank for the cost of this tour, but you can't get as much goodwill out of a tank as you can out of Dizzy Gillespie's band." A few years later, when Louis Armstrong arrived in the Congo as part of a tour through Africa, drummers and dancers paraded him through the streets on a throne. When he played in Katanga province, a truce was called in a long-standing civil war so combatants on both sides could go see him play. Dave Brubeck traveled with his group through Turkey and soon became enamored and drawn towards new styles of music he heard while on tour. These new folk influences impacted Brubeck deeply and changed his compositional style. Once he returned to the US, he immediately began working on his new album. Time Out is dedicated to exploring different time signatures and how the basic beat is interpreted in jazz and popular music. One of Brubeck's best-known songs from Time Out is titled Take 5. This hit was recorded in only 2 takes and was considered more of a throwaway rather than the iconic classic that it has become. According to the New York Times, the track became one of the most recognizable themes and most successful singles in jazz, selling more than 1 million copies and reaching number 25 on Billboard magazine's Hot 100 chart in 1962. If anyone plans on focusing on rhythm and meter, you have to start at its source, the rhythm section. Joe Morello played with both grace and elegance as he moved through 3/4, 9/8, and 5/4 meters in Brubeck's band. He was also subtle, using a wide range of tones from gentle brush strokes to sharp rim shots. One day, he was playing with a 5/4 pattern when Brubeck, who couldn't come up with a melody, came up instead with this vamp. It would be this vamp that would become the foundation for Paul Desmond's classic saxophone solo in Take 5. Time Out is a product of wider influences and broader horizons that merged rather than distanced themselves. Brubeck's travels across as a jazz ambassador drew him to new influences that would combine with his talents to revolutionize how jazz was heard. While adapting to these influences, Brubeck was able to stay true to himself while engaging with others. He was able to create this new approach, which would become a seismic shift for jazz. And while he radically changed certain ideas, he made it approachable and inviting, bringing jazz into millions of homes, many for the first time. It is thus fitting that we conclude with Time Out's shining star, Blue Rondo a la Turk. Much as its name indicates, this song was a product of Brubeck's travels as a jazz ambassador through Turkey. While there, he heard a unique rhythmic motif with a 9/8 time signature. 9/8 is often interpreted with 9 beats per each measure, with the 8th note gaining the value of a single beat. This is often interpreted through 3 sets of triplets, but what Brubeck discovered in Turkey is that the first 2 triplets were divided into 6 8th notes, while the last triplet was left intact. The result was an interpretation of 9/8 that was not structured, as it often is in Western music, but rather added a level of tension and excitement. I hope you enjoy my interpretation of Blue Rondo a la Turk on the cello. I had the very good fortune of working on this project with drummist Warren Oates, whose recording and Broadway credits add an additional 15 minutes to today's performance. I also must give special thanks to Rave Tassar, a pianist for the band Renaissance, who not only recorded and added piano to the session, but inspired me to get this done well. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.